San Francisco, April 25th, 1945. The place selected by history to be the scene of the great adventure of our times. The attempt by men and women of freedom-loving nations to create a plan for world peace. This conference of the United Nations was conceived by the late Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of the leading architects for a world security organization that could put an end to all wars on this earth. So to this city on the shores of the ocean named for peace came 1,300 representatives of the 46 United Nations, delegates from nations large and small, and from many countries devastated by war. They came from near and far, from cultures ancient and modern. Through press and camera, men and women, soldiers and civilians the world over, followed this meeting of the nations, praying for its success. The newsreel cameras were the eyes of the world, recording this historic endeavor. Batteries of motion picture lights, such as are used in Hollywood, made it possible to photograph the meetings of the delegates.
New world order.
A new world order.
A new world order. New world order.
New world order.
A new world order.
A new world order.
New world order.
New world order. And a new world order.
Press conferences were held by many delegations to give the correspondents permissible information and background material. Here, Dr. T.V. Soong, acting premier of the Chinese Republic, replies to questions put to him by well-known journalists, representing the millions who could not be present. And here, American Secretary of State Edward Stettinius Jr. discusses problems of the conference, helping the press to understand the complexities of the delegates' daily business.
A new world order.
New world order.
New world order.
New world order.
A new world order. Need for a new world order.
A new world order.
The plenary sessions were held in San Francisco's War Memorial Opera House, dedicated to its sons who gave their lives to the cause of freedom during the First World War. The men and women with plans for world peace were in their places.
Here's what I think is the big picture. Yeah, you drill down into the pieces and parts, all the investment, the dramatic announcement about Boeing airplanes by Qatar, even go into the 747 that the Qataris had given to Trump, which I think we'll talk about here in a second. But here's the big picture. I think what Trump is signaling is that this is part of what he sees as the realignment, sort of the new world order, to use an overused term, that he's telling people that his relationship, our relationship as a country, is going to be closer with the Gulf states going forward than it has been ever before. And that probably comes at the price of our relationship with, say, continental Europe, that the future is in Dubai, the future is in Riyadh, the future is in Doha, the future is not in Frankfurt or in Paris.
Constantinople, now it's Istanbul. Now Constantinople, been a long time gone. Constantinople, now Turkish delight on a moonlit night. Every gal in Constantinople lives in Istanbul. Now Constantinople, so if you've a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul. Even old New York was once New Amsterdam.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio meeting with Turkey's foreign minister in Istanbul this morning ahead of the first direct talks between Russia and Ukraine in more than 3 years. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky slamming Russian President Vladimir Putin's decision not to attend in person. And while the President Trump, briefly talked about the idea of going himself, that did not materialize. Rubio later echoed the conversation and the concerns with President Trump, saying that things do not look promising right now.
Nothing's going to happen until President Trump sits across the table from Vladimir Putin and puts it on the line and puts it on the table. I think that's the only chance we have at peace at this point.
Why they changed it, I can't say. People just liked it better that way. So take me back to Constantinople. No, you can't go back to Constantinople. Been a long time gone. Constantinople, why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks. Istanbul. Istanbul.
Who was Emperor Constantine? Born in 272 AD, Constantine the Great changed the course of Roman history. His greatest accomplishment? The Edict of Milan in 313 AD, which legalized Christianity, paving the way for it to become the empire's dominant religion. As the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity, Constantine also founded Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, in 330 AD, making it a new capital that would symbolize the unity of the Roman Empire. During his reign, the Roman Empire spanned Europe, North Africa, and parts of Asia, truly immense in its scope. Constantine's rule unified a fragmented empire, and he was known for his military prowess, which kept external threats at bay. He died in 337 AD, succumbing to illness, leaving behind a legacy that would shape the future of both the Roman world and the Christian Church for centuries.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
The first day's session began when Mr. Stettinius took his place on the speaker's platform.
The Conference of the United Nations on International Organization is now convened.
From the distant White House, the voice of Harry S.
The President of the United States.
At no time in history has there been a more important conference or a more necessary meeting than this one in San Francisco. You members of this conference are to be the architects of a better world. In your hands rests our future.
I'm a Roman Catholic. I believe that the Pope is a successor of Peter, appointed through apostolic succession and the intervention of the Holy Spirit through the cardinals. And the one thing I can tell you is that the only institution that was around 2,000 years ago that's still around is the Catholic Church, the Universal Church, and I have faith in that system. We've had very good popes, we've had bad popes, but we still have a church. And I think it speaks to the strength of the church and to the validity of it. And as a Roman Catholic, I believe it's because the Pope, the Bishop of Rome, is the inheritor of the power that was left to Peter by Jesus himself and has been passed down through the generations. No other human institution would have been able to survive the ups and downs the church has faced. What's kept it is that he's the rock. And upon that rock, he built the church. That's what I believe deeply, and that's how I analyze the situation. I just don't view him as a political leader.
So why don't we take a detour to another parallel Earth?
So many Earths already gone. The pillars of magic are crumbling, leaving me the worse for wear. So I can't get us into purgatory, but don't worry, Squire. Luckily, I know a guy.
Oh, you're gonna love her. She's pretty much up for everything.
Always a pleasure to see you, Lucy. It's time.
Excuse me, ladies. Seems like you're not the only ones who want a piece of me. I'll see you later. Johnny! Well, I'd like to say it's a pleasure to see you on my Earth outside my club, but it's not. Hello? Don't believe we've met. Lucifer, Morningstar.
Lucifer, Morningstar, as in...
The devil, yes, exactly. So tell me, what is it you desire?
I desire to get my father back.
Oh, daddy issues. Why didn't you say so?
Look, I don't know if you have an Oliver Queen on your world, but ours is shuffled off this mortal coil.
A soul retrieval, blah, 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 the worlds are ending. It's all very biblical, John. Okay, I'm only doing this because I owe you for maize.
Yeah, you do.
You remind me of my brother, by the way. Tall, dark, annoyed by me. You're going to help us on that? Oh, flirt? The devil always sees through on a deal. Take this card. You'll have a limited time once inside purgatory, and once the picture completely fades...
Our souls will be decimated, blah, blah, blah.
And trapped in eternity forever, so I don't recommend it.
Hey, guys, you gotta get back in there and finish the dance.
Hey, man, look at Marvin's hand. He can't play with his hand like that, and we can't play without him.
Yeah, well, look, Marvin, you gotta play. It's See, that's where they kiss for the first time on the dance floor. And if there's no music, they can't dance. If they can't dance, they can't kiss. If they can't kiss, they can't fall in love, and I'm history.
Hey, man, the dance is over. Unless you know somebody else that can play the guitar. This is for all you lovers out there.
Earth angel, will you be mine? My darling dear, love you.
George, aren't you gonna kiss me?
I don't know.
I'm just a fool.
Scram, McFly. I'm cutting in.
Earth angel, the one I adore.
Hey, boy, you all right?
I can't play. Excuse me.
Consider us even, John Constantine.
Constantine.
Is it? I don't care.
If we do not want to die together in war, we must learn to live together in peace.
Finally, Mr. Stettinius, quoting Franklin Roosevelt, through whom America spoke when he said,
We must and we shall fulfill the purpose for which we have come together.
the four countries calling the conference, the United States, Great Britain, Russia, and China, through their spokesman, pledged the support of their respective nations to the creation of a plan for lasting peace. Acting Premier Dr. T.V. Soong of China.
At the very inception of the idea of the United Nations, President Chiang Kai-shek advocated the early setting up of an Executive Council of the United Nations. Today, victory is the result of the cumulative efforts of collective security in action. Germany and Japan are to be kept powerless to do harm. The United States and the Soviet Union are now among the chief artisans of the new international order.
Istanbul, even old New York, was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it, I can't say. You'll just liked it better that way. Istanbul was Constantinople, now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. Gone to Constantinople, why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks.
Foreign Commissar V.M. Molotov of the Soviet Union.
По поручению правительства Союза Советских Социалистических Республик я в первых же словах
I should like to assure the conference that my country is devoted to the cause of setting up an organization to protect the peace. I wish you to know that the Soviet Union can be relied upon to protect the peace. Our peaceful nation, the Red Army, and our great Marshal Stalin are inflexibly supporting this great cause. This organization must have the necessary means for the military protection of the security of nations.
President Trump's son-in-law has a 41-story size problem at 666 Fifth Avenue. Jared Kushner's company still holds half of the $1.2 billion mortgage and hasn't paid a cent, forcing the Kushners to look overseas for investors. Caleb Melby's recent story on the Bloomberg takes a deep dive into Kushner's struggles with the property. Caleb joins us now. Caleb, great stuff. Walk me through what's the new here.
Right. So we had known that Kushner companies had looked for funds with Ambang in China. They had gone to Qatar. This story reveals that they also talked to a developer in Saudi Arabia. They went to the Korean Sovereign Wealth Fund, talked to some Israeli banks and insurers as well, trying to find one of two things: either a way to refinance the mortgage on that tower, or in most cases to buy into this very expensive, very grand redevelopment plan they have for the building.
So what happened?
Nobody's committed any funds yet, and they're still looking.
How much time do they have?
The mortgage is due February 2019, and we got to talk to the president of Kushner Companies, Laurent Morali, and he'll tell you that that's plenty of time in real estate finance to find someone to do this deal with them. But they've also been looking for a long time already.
Any chance it's actually going to get done?
Anything's possible, and they tell you they have a lot of contingency plans. Either they create that 81-story building with condos that go at $9,000 per square foot and a huge retail mall, or maybe they just update the offices and get people to move in that way.
All right, Caleb, thanks very much. Bloomberg's Caleb Melby.
No exaggeration to say that the work which we are starting on here in this meeting may be the world's last chance. Let me say how emphatically I agree with your words of a short while ago. Let us not, at this session, attempt too much. If we can now draw up a charter within the framework of our principles, the details can then be left to be filled in the light of experience. We cannot afford to delay. This conference bears heavy responsibilities. It has also splendid opportunities. Let it seize them now.
Okay, so John Constantine, imagine if Sherlock Holmes got cursed by a demon and decided to make it everyone else's problem. British, chain-smoking, constantly in over his head, but too stubborn to admit it. He's not your typical hero. He's the guy who'll use dark magic to solve a problem, then accidentally create 3 new ones. Classic. Grew up in Liverpool, got into occult stuff way too young, and now he's basically the supernatural world's most annoying middleman. Demons hate him because he's ripped them off. Angels hate him because he's definitely going to hell.
So, global crisis averted?
Yes, for now. So we can talk about Caligula, Stalin, Trump. I mean, I know he's not dead, but he's definitely going.
Robert Johnson is considered one of the greatest blues artists of all time.
It's the template for what became rock and roll. I believe Robert Johnson was extremely talented, extremely gifted, and way off balance. Something's spinning strangely in that man's life. Robert was a novice guitar player, not very good.
This man was a nobody. And then he disappears. A year and a half later, he's doing things with the guitar that even his mentors can't do.
No, I don't go. Come on, man. Let's do something that really cooks. Something that really cooks. All right. All right. This is an oldie, but well, it's an oldie where I come from. All right, guys, listen, this is a blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Way down in Louisiana, down in New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens, there stood a log cabin made of earth and wood.
possibly have gotten that good that fast?
The minutes go is Robert went to the crossroads, got down on his knees, handed his guitar to the devil. The devil said, once you receive this guitar back, your soul is mine.
If you do make a deal with the devil, you're going to have to pay the price.
It ended up costing him, the bill coming due.
He let his arrogance go too far. We all have to choose how much we can sacrifice in order to achieve greatness.
Let us do it with courage, modesty, and dispatch. Let us do it now.
These men of many minds, eager to be of one mind, now turn their faces toward one of the greatest missions ever undertaken by mankind.
If we turn against each other based on divisions of race or religion,
Come on, try getting it out. Ding, 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 ding. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Constantinople, now it's Istanbul, now Constantinople, been a long time gone. Constantinople, now it's church delight on a moonlit night. Every gal in Constantinople lives in Istanbul, now Constantinople. So if you've a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul. Even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it, I can't say. People just liked it better that way. So take me back to Constantinople. No, you can't go back to Constantinople. Been a long time gone. Constantinople, why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks. Istanbul. Istanbul. Istanbul, even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it, I can't say. People just liked it better that way. Istanbul was Constantinople, now it's Istanbul, now Constantinople. Been a long time gone, Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks. Constantinople. No, you can't go back to Constantinople. Been a long time gone. Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks. Istanbul.
Trust in me. Ernest Klein is such a visionary, and I think has seen the future before any of us possibly could even imagine it.
You think I'm joking?
Well, if it turns out that we've got a lovely son instead of a lovely daughter, then we'll be happy.
No, I'm not transsexual.
Oh.
Is that not the word now?
But you said trans.
What did we call you then? I'm not transsexual. I'm transhuman.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, they keep changing the words. I don't know the difference. I don't want to change sex.
No, sure. We say gender now, don't we? I'm sorry.
I said I'm not comfortable with my body, so I want to get rid of it. This thing, all the arms and legs and every single bit of it. I don't want to be flesh. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to escape this thing and become digital.
What do you mean?
They say one day, soon, they'll have clinics in Switzerland where you can go and you'll sign a form and they'll take your brain and download it into the cloud.
And your body?
Recycled. Into the earth. So you want to kill yourself? I want to live forever. As information, because that's what transhumans are, Mum. Not male or female, better. Where I'm going, there's no life or death, there's only data. I will be data.
And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.